Hey guys, so I'm going to read you Lesson 55 from A Course in Miracles workbook. This is a review of 21 to 25, and I just wanted to say the last lesson, lesson 20 from the last video, from the last lesson review, is I am determined to see. I've been saying on this channel, I don't know if this idea was sort of implanted in my mind from A Course in Miracles. I don't think it was. I think this is sort of at the heart of everything. I've been saying this for a long time here, for, I don't know, at least a couple months now, I think. Maybe forever, I don't know. That the problem with manifestation, the problem with everything is that you are seeing things incorrectly. Like, you have beliefs and ideas about yourself that are simply wrong. They're simply not accurate. And the problem is, those beliefs are creating a world that you see that is not real. And so lesson 20 of this was, I am determined to see. And I'm reading this A Course in Miracles stuff sort of adjacent to, you know, the main ideas of this channel, which is like, how do I change myself so that I automatically create a world that I want instead of one that sucks? That's sort of the whole idea. How do I like get to the point where I am swimming in abundance and I'm free to, focus on changing everything about the way I think so that I see this beautiful world or whatever, or just vibrate right off the planet. Who knows? That's sort of the point of all of this. And so I've been reading this sort of peripherally because I'm not fully in a place where I'm just like diving into A Course in Miracles and trying to do this with my, just kind of like leaving my known world behind and diving right into this, although I certainly think I should be doing that, and I'm just not for some reason. But like, it's everywhere. You can't miss this anymore. You can't. I've been saying it on this channel that you probably watch more than just this video. A Course in Miracles is saying it. Neville Goddard is saying it. You've got to be starting, I think, to see that this is true at this point, that you're simply not seeing clearly. You're simply not seeing clearly. And all you really have to do, I think this was my video for New Year's Eve, which was the New Year's resolution is to stop fumbling in the dark, intend to see. And here we are, lesson 20, I am determined to see. This is really, if you just kind of say, I have an overall prime directive in my life that is going to supersede every other manifestation desire, every other intention that I have. Every other intention I have in life is going to fall below this big main one, because without this big main one, all the rest of these things are going to be skewed. If you do that and you make intentionally, I mean, sit and think about it and decide, my overall intention above everything else is to see clearly in every situation. I don't care, what that translates to. I don't care if that means that I have to go through some pain because I realize that I have been completely blind to something. And the reality, the truth being known to me, or, this is going to create a period of emptiness for me, or a loss, or something else like that, something that I'm afraid of. I'm going to have the courage to intend overall to see clearly, to see the truth, which, it shouldn't be painful, but sometimes it is. Because then in your interpretation of whatever you come to see clearly, there's more perception that needs to be corrected, But if you make that your overall intention, I really don't think you can go wrong. Nobody's guaranteeing that means that you're going to be bouncing off the walls with happiness immediately. But it is, I think, the first step towards getting what you really want. Anyway, okay. This is lesson 55. Review of 21 through 25. 21. I am determined to see things differently. What I see now are but signs of disease, disaster, and death. This cannot be what God created for his beloved Son. The very fact that I see such things is proof that I do not understand God. Therefore, I also do not understand his Son. What I see tells me that I do not know who I am. I am determined to see the witnesses to the truth in me rather than those which show me an illusion of myself. Nothing bad there. What I see is a form of vengeance. The world I see is hardly the representation of loving thoughts. It is a picture of attack on everything by everything. It is anything but a reflection of the love of God and the love of His Son. It is my own attack thoughts that give rise to this picture. My loving thoughts will save me from this perception of the world and give me the peace God intended me to have. 23. I can escape from this world by giving up attack thoughts. Herein lies salvation and nowhere else. Without attack thoughts, I could not see a world of attack. As forgiveness allows love to return to my awareness, I will see a world of peace and safety and joy. And it is this I choose to see in place of what I look on now. 24. I do not perceive my own best interests. How could I recognize my own best interests when I do not know who I am? What I think are my best interests would merely bind me closer to the world of illusions. I am willing to follow the guide God has given me to find out what my own best interests are, recognizing that I cannot perceive them by myself. 25. I do not know what anything is for. To me, the purpose of everything is to prove that my illusions about myself are real. It is for this purpose that I attempt to use everyone and everything. It is for this that I believe the world is for. Therefore, I do not recognize its real purpose. The purpose I have given the world has led to a frightening picture of it. Let me open my mind to the world's real purpose by withdrawing the one I have given it and learning the truth about it. So really, by the way, again, I'm going to say, did I say that in the beginning of this video or the last one? I think it was the beginning of this one. If you're just being introduced to these ideas, I think the best approach to this stuff is a slow exposure and just sort of opening your mind to the ideas without sort of frantically trying to apply them to areas of your life that you feel are in disarray. Particularly if you have an area like a relationship with a person, which I know a lot of people in this manifesting space are coming at this because they are like feeling frantic about a person. The idea of forgiveness in A Course in Miracles is not the same as the idea of forgiveness as we think of it, as we know it. It's not, you're bad, I'm better than you in this situation, you offended me, and now I am going to have mercy on you and say, okay, well, you did this bad thing to me, but I'm going to pretend like it didn't happen, or I'm going to let it go, and we're going to go back to the way we've been interacting. That's not quite what it means in the context of A Course in Miracles. So, the thing that I think I missed about A Course in Miracles when I first was reading it, or that I misunderstood, is that, and I had to hear someone put it in these terms, I think it was Marianne Williamson, this is not so much about what you do in the world. This is not so much about you in the world of illusion. This is about correcting your thinking and your mind. My impression of a lot of this stuff when I read it when I was much younger, 20 years ago, when I was like 23, 24, is where I kind of got into trouble with some of these ideas. It's not so much about how you are in the world. It's not like if you're in a relationship that is, by any normal standard of current humans, toxic, that you would then stay in that relationship and forgive in the traditional sense. This is more about not condemning others and not spending your awareness on having these, as it calls them, attack thoughts, having these thoughts about other people. It doesn't mean that you're somehow obligated to stay in that situation and continue to forgive in the human sense. You could do that or you could not. It's really not about that. Like, that's not really, this isn't so much about how you govern yourself outwardly in the world or what choices you make, where you are, where you live, what you're doing with your life. It's not so much about that. It's about correcting your own thoughts, which then, of course, do lead to taking different outer actions, But yeah, I think this gets weird when you sort of feel that you need to be away from someone, and then you're in your mind thinking, yeah, but I'm creating them this way. Or, if you're a lucky member of the Neville Goddard cult community, I'm creating them this way, so therefore I must stay and create them some other way. Or, if you're sort of in the A Course in Miracles stuff and thinking of it in terms of that, like, I just need to keep forgiving and seeing this person as, the blameless son of God or whatever. It's not really about that. It's about having that in your mind. It's about you. And you still have every right in the world to move away, and should move away from that situation. So this gets kind of tricky, but what I've learned about this stuff is that it's sort of like it's a new spin on your normal life. And some things will be a big change for you, maybe. Probably seeing yourself differently will be the biggest change for every person. But it doesn't, that phrase, like, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water; after enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. That's what I'm saying. It's, you're still living this human life. You don't morph into some other timeline where all of a sudden everybody is magically different. And so if you think that's what you're doing with this, you may learn the hard way that it's not. This is all about you. It's the same thing with manifestation. Like, none of this is about changing the external 3D world. None of it. Not even manifestation. Manifestation is about changing yourself and the outer world in a way that seems kind of mystical or magical to you, shifting to reflect the changes in you. And, there's this side thing where somehow, you can kind of like focus on something and maybe then you bring it into your existence somehow, or, you tune your mind to be looking for something and then you see it everywhere, and that seems very magical when really it was there all along and you just didn't notice it a lot of the time. That to me is just kind of like the magic trick aspect of all of this. And the real, true magic is the change in you and your perception. There's another entire world right here, right now, right in front of you, and you're not seeing it. And if you changed the way you were thinking, it would be visible, literally visible to you. Not in a magical way. You've probably experienced this to some degree at one point or another, where, like when you're in love and the world is like magic, you know what I mean? And everything just falls into place, stuff like that. That's available all the time. It's just that reaching that state is it's something that I think requires sort of a total shift of life intention for most people. I guess some people just kind of snap into it, or, this is why people get addicted to falling in love, I think, because they want that state of sort of like peace and ecstasy and all of that stuff, and they only find it through this illusion with another person. But it's available, it's there, independent of any external prop. So anyway, yeah, I'm sure A Course in Miracles people would probably not agree with a lot of what I just said. I don't know. I don't know. I've always found the people that talk about A Course in Miracles to be sort of unrelatable to me in the same way that I feel like I misunderstood a lot of this stuff 20 years ago. Like, I don't feel like any of this should be some sort of cult-like religion. Like, this is a way of governing yourself that I think reduces to the maximum possible extent misperception of the world, and maybe leads to enlightenment. I don't know. Anyway, I hope that helps somebody. Have a great day.